This program illustrates the usage of while iteration statement in C programming. We have gone through the selection statement, and now we want to start going through the looping, also called iteration control structure or iteration statement. And the first one we're going to start with is called the while, right? So what while do is that it will keep on looping, continue iterating, continue performing some actions, continue executing some instructions until a certain condition is met, or as long as a certain condition is remain true. So what we are going to do now, and to illustrate this while control structure, we are going to be creating a program that will create the average score of students from a test. So it will keep inputting a score. First of all, the user will specify the number of students, and then it will keep inputting the scores of those number of students until the last score until the score of the last student is reached, and then it will proceed to calculate the average score and then print it out on the screen. So as usual, what we are going to do, we are going to use a printf to prompt the user to enter the number of the student. So I'm going to make use of printf, print format, and I'm going to ask SHS enter the school, enter the number of the students, enter the number of students. Okay, so now this will be as a prompt, and you ask it will require the user to input the number of students. So now we create a variable called student int students. Now we can now accept the student from the keyboard that the user entered. So now we say, and then we have for our conversion specifier, format control string, using this conversion specifier D, since we are inputting a decimal integer, and then we are going to place it in the memory location of students and the rest of students. Right, so now the next thing that we are going to do, after accepting that, now the next thing that we are going to do, we are going to make use of while. Okay, so make use of while control structure. So we say while. Okay, so we need to also create some variables like a counter. We create a variable called counter that will keep track of the number of the students. So we say counter, and it's going to be an integer variable. We declare it and initialize it on the same line. So we are declaring it as integer variable, and we initializing it with the value 0. So we say counter is 0, and then we also create another variable called total that will keep track of the number that will be summing of the number of the scores of the student. That will keep summing up the scores of the student, since we are going to calculate an average. So we are going to add up the scores. So we say int total, okay, and then we say total also equals to 0, since we haven't added anything to it. Now we create our condition, and using that the while control structure will work on. So we say while counter is less than, all right, is less than student. Then we want the program to keep executing some instructions, and the instruction, first instruction is to ask the user to input a score. So we ask the user to input a score. So we say enter the score, enter a score, and now the user is going to enter a score. All right, enter a score. All right, so we'll make sure that we are all right. So give it 2 arguments. Enter a score. It's going to print out a string. So we're asking you to enter a score, and then the user is going to enter a score. Now we need to accept the score from the terminal. All right, so we say okay, let me make this because a user can enter a score that is of that is a floating point number. So let me make this total float, and also we create a variable called score that is of float type float data type, and now we're going to accept it from the user. We see we are going to say this is conversion specifier for float, which is percentage symbol -f, and then we are going to store it in var address of variable score. All right, so now we have the score, and then now we are going to add the score to total. So we say total equals to total plus score. So now we have added the first score. Another way of writing this is there's a shorter way of writing this: total equals total plus score. So we can just say total plus equals to score, and then remove this total and then this plus. So this will mean total equals to total plus score. So we call this is a shorthand way of writing the first one that I wrote. So we total plus equals to score. So then this will keep incrementing it, the score, to this variable total. So now counter, we are going to now next we are going to increment our counter. We can make use of this is what we call we can make use of pre-decrement operation. This is a post increment operator. We can, if we wish, we can make use of also pre-increment operator. So it's all the same, since it is it's not in an expression, it is in a standalone variable. It is not in an expression, so we can make use of it. But let me use the other one. It makes a little more sense. So let me say counter plus plus means this is same thing as saying counter equals to counter plus 1. Also a shorthand way of writing it: counter is equals to counter plus 1. Counter plus 1. Or if I like, I can just write counter plus equals to 1. So let me make use of the last one. Counter plus equals to 1. All right, counter plus equals to 1. So now we are incrementing 1 to counter. So now and then let us comment this. Comment this as end while. All right, end while. All right, okay. So what do we have here? All right, no, this is supposed to be end while. This is end function main, end function main, while this is end while. All right, so we have this. Okay, so now I'm going to compile the program. Then this any error we are going to. All right, we haven't calculated the average, which is the main goal, the main objective of this program. So after getting the sum of the scores using our while, okay, so basically what this while will do is it will keep prompting the user to enter a score, and then it will get the score and then add the score to total until when and then this counter keep incrementing for the first score, for the second score, for the next time of iteration the counter will be 2, next iteration the counter will be 3, next iteration the counter will be 4, until the time when the counter is 10, when the value of the counter is 10. And when the value of the counter is 10, now this condition will no longer stand, because at the end counter is 10 and student number is 10. Say the number of students is 10, 10 is not 10 less than 10 is not true, then this condition will fail, and transfer of control will move to the line number 34, which is the line after this end while, after this while control structure. So the instruction that we are going to write there will now execute, and what we are going to do is to basically compute the average. So we are going to say I'm going to create a new variable. I'll call it float, and then I'm going to call it average. Average, and then we are going to say average is going to be total divided by counter, which is the number of the student, or we can say students. It's all the same, students. So okay, total divided by the number of students. So sum of the scores divided by the number of the student, and now we can finally print out the student this average to the user. So we can say printf, and then we have percentage s, then we have the average of the school course is. Then we have all right, so I don't need this other one. Let me just do away with this. So we have the average of the score is average. It's going to be a floating point number. Let's make it with 2 degrees of press, 2 places of decimal. So, and then here I'm going to write the average. So average. So now we are going to have it printed out on the terminal. So now we are going to go to the terminal to compile this program and run it and see how it's going to work. So let me go to the terminal here. I'm going to come off here, and then let me clear this screen. I'm going to navigate to the directory where we have our code. So cd programming ls cd c programs, clear the screen, ls cd c programming from scratch, and then ls cd coding. Then we have cd coding, and then ls. So now really we okay, sorry, I'm not supposed to be here. cd lectures. Okay, cd lecture. I'm going to clear the terminal, and then we have going to write gcc. We have the name of the program is while.c, and then I'm going to output it as while. Right, so it has successfully compiled, but let's see whether it is going to give us the right output. So I'm going to have while, and then I'm going to hit enter the number of students. So we have let's start with a less number. Let's say we have 4 students. Enter a score, so 3. Enter a score, say 4. Enter a score 2. Enter a score 1. The average of the scores is 2.50. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Average score is 2.50. So as we can see, our program is working perfectly. It has summed up those values, and it has given us our average score. And this program has demonstrated the use of the while iteration structure. So thank you for taking much time to watch this video tutorial.